Hi there, I'm Toby Nussbaum, the CEO of the National Capital Commission, and in today's episode of Capital Stories, we're going to explore shorelines and waterways. For years, the NCC has been working to turn the capital towards its incredible waterways to give residents and visitors great recreation and fun destination experiences. And through projects big and small over the last number of years, we've been doing exactly that by activating our shoreline infrastructure and creating great new public spaces, such as here, the NCC River House, as well as the new Westboro Beach Pavilion, more than a dozen bistros and terraces, brand new Dow's Lake dock this year, Kiweki Point opened earlier this year, and Summer Zone, and many other activities to really bring people to the water, not to mention the swinging chairs on the Rideau Canal. So what we're really aiming to do is restore the shoreline infrastructure, improve it, enhance it, and improve long-term public access. So in this episode, we're going to unravel how these on-the-ground transformations are reconnecting people with the water's edge, fostering urban life in our capital region, and setting a blueprint for future shoreline animation. And so to help me navigate this conversation, I'm joined by Natalie Roy-Padnaud, our Director of Real Estate Management. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Toby.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of Capital Stories. And yeah, we're at probably what it was one of the most important big projects for the NCC in terms of what I have been talking about in terms of activating the shoreline. And we opened in August of 2023. I'm curious, how has this been different from what you imagined when we were in the planning stage and now 2 years later, the differences between what you thought it was going to be and what it is?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, part of it has been giving access to bringing people to the water and water to the people, recognizing that, not everybody has access to a backyard. People live in apartments and condominiums, some with or without balconies, but they don't necessarily have a backyard that they can enjoy. And so by animating the waterways and the parks, we're creating that opportunity for people to come and enjoy our beautiful lands in the city. And today that includes the River House, but we also have NCC bistros, cafes, patios. There's opportunities for the public to rent recreational equipment like paddle boards, kayaks, pedal boats, and so on. And of course, the opportunity to swim, like here at River House, at Dow's Lake, Lake Limi, Lac Philippe, to name a few within the portfolio. So what's really been outstanding is the interest and the use of our sites by the public. Since May alone, or in the last 2 months with the opening of Dow's Lake, the dock, and the Westboro site, we've already welcomed over 100,000 visitors. And last year, the River House received or welcomed 80,000 visitors to the site. So it's an overwhelming response by the demand by the public. So it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you raise an important point, which is we didn't start from nowhere. We started from a place where the NCC had public beaches. You mentioned a few in Gatineau Park, at Lac Limi, our work with the City of Ottawa at Westboro Beach. But I guess it's a combination of building on that legacy of beaches and adding more, probably slightly more urban spots. And the concept of being in a river and having a swim dock in the river was unique, I believe, in Canada. And so that was a first. And did it sort of pan out the way you thought it would? Or again, 2 years later, are you surprised by its success? Or did you think, no, this is going to be a home run?
Oh, definitely. This is a home run. This is a lot of people are coming from all corners of the city and they feel like they're in a cottage. They feel like they're in a rural setting. They feel like, they're on vacation or in a resort. So we're really creating opportunities for adventure and access to places that most people wouldn't otherwise be able to access.
Yeah, so one of the things that surprised me when I imagined River House and then now watching it is that we're really attracting people from throughout the capital, and I think visitors to the capital as well. And I don't know that I expected that, and it's very heartwarming to see people who are new to Canada, who have been here for a short time, who quickly found it and are taking advantage of it. And I think you raise an important point about it's a beautiful spot, and if you don't have a cottage, you don't have a backyard, you don't have access to these sites, to be able to offer that to people for free has been something that I think for me was a bit of a surprise. I knew it would be popular and I knew it would be a great spot to hang out, but I don't know that I quite understood that from an equity perspective it would be so important in terms of that public access. Were there surprises for you between planning and execution?
Absolutely. I mean, when you see the site, we really see the diversity of the population that the site brings, and not just this site, but all of our sites. People from different backgrounds, different cultures, ages. We've seen from infants of a year old to 100 years old. And so it's really an opportunity for everyone to come and enjoy the site. And as you mentioned, it is free and it is fully accessible. So people with limited mobility, people with strollers or so on can really come and enjoy the site. And the accessibility starts from the parking lot all the way down to the swim area.
That's amazing. So in terms of numbers, do you see there being a cap on the demand, or do you think there's a build it and they will come aspect to our shoreline activation in general and swimming in particular?
Definitely a build it, they will come. We launched 10 new nodes last year, where we have a total of 30 different nodes across the region in total. And every site brings a unique feature and a unique flair to it. And people are curious and they want to try them out. And I think the big part is that a lot of our sites are also connected to our pathways and parkways, so they're very accessible. And yeah, people are site hopping and they're looking for the next thing and next experience. And so we're creating experiences and destinations for people to look at.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm always interested to see sort of the feedback we're getting, whether it's through surveys or on websites like Reddit, and feedback that we're getting in terms of our contact center. And there seems to be an overwhelming sense that this is what people want. And I've often wondered, I have this line that I sometimes use, which is, wouldn't it be great for the capital in the summer, for swimming in the capital in the summer to be what skating in the capital in the winter is? And I do think that we have the opportunity to really create leadership across the country and hopefully around the world to say this is how urban areas can really turn towards their water. And you know, we talk about the climate crisis more in the form of challenges, which there are many, and we're working on those. But in some ways, what's interesting about swimming is it's an opportunity. It's saying if we're going to have longer and hotter summers, to give people a chance to cool down, to be outside in a safe way, to be able to jump in with their kids or with their friends, is actually kind of responding. It's a form of climate adaptation. So I think that's exciting too. Do you see there being other opportunities, other things that you think we as an organization should pursue?
Well, I think that with the intensification of housing and the conversation of housing that is on the table, I mean, we're going to see increased density in the core, and which means that more people will be looking for parks and shorelines and places to go to. So I think that conversation is going to continue to evolve, and we have a real opportunity to continue to cater to that demand. And we're working on a couple of other sites. Lady Gray Drive is one of them, where we're exploring the feasibility and different animation options. East Wharf is another, where there's a recreational platform that we can offer. So we're not out of options just yet. I think there's more to come.
Yeah, and I think it's important to acknowledge something when it comes to these various projects. And I'm very quick to talk about the fact that we're learning from other cities. And certainly when we were talking about some of these projects early on, we were pulling out pictures and books and ideas that other many capital cities across the world, particularly in Europe, have gone down this path. And I think what I like is we've taken some of the best examples and used those. And I think you're right. I think there are more opportunities to do that. And similarly, it's been heartwarming to see other cities in Canada now talk about the NCC River House. I've seen a few different references to cities looking at how they can put swim docks in their natural waterways, and they're talking about the NCC River House as an example. So to me, that's the kind of national leadership that we talk about, and that I'm certainly proud that we as a team are able to offer that to other jurisdictions.
And a lot of people don't realize, I was having conversations with peers and people in the industry not too long ago, and everybody thinks that everything is expensive or is a big project. Not everything is a big project. You talked about big and small. Some can be docks, some can be a full river house, but one of the things that I say when I talk to people in the industry is Canada is a country of land and parks and waters, and so everybody in a community has a park or a river or something. They might not have as many as we do, but everybody's got a little something that maybe they can look to bring to their community. And, so I think I think we're setting the baseline for ideas and for people, to be the innovator and the leader with shorelines.
Now, there aren't any people behind us right now, and that's because there is a distant thunderstorm coming our way. But normally, on a warm afternoon in the summer, this place would be packed. And, we've talked a lot about the place, but I think it's important to mention, too, that we've increased the options for people to get here. So I know we've got a water taxi.
Yep.
I think we've partnered with the Hop On, Hop Off bus.
Correct, yeah.
And I'm always amazed to see the number of bike racks when I arrive at River House.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've counted, but we must have dozens and dozens.
We're over 100. We've stopped counting. So that's something that's really interesting. I mean, all of our sites include bike racks. We put the planning for bike racks, but even now we've promoted alternative transportation to the community. We've opened some sites last year. We didn't even promote come by bike or pathways. And you go there at any given time and the bike racks are full. And so people are understanding our vision. They're understanding the alternative transportation. But yes, water taxi is a great way. It is a universally accessible means of transportation. The double-decker tour that does the city hop-on, hop-off tours have added River House as one of their stops. A lot of people want to partner with us and, understand that, we want to provide or promote alternative transportation. And public transit is also an option, but it's a little bit more distant.
Yeah, and I think that's important as we build out these urban waterfront sites. There isn't always going to be parking available. This doesn't have great public transit access, which is why we've talked about some of the other means. But I think that is a reality. And as we get a growing population in the capital and more visitors coming, I think encouraging active transportation. When we have public transit access, great. When we don't, what are these alternatives like water taxis? So I think that's important and probably going to be more of our future too.
Yeah, and the water taxi also provides a scenic route here, right? It leaves from the Bytown Locks. You're going by the Rideau Falls. You've got the escarpment of Rockcliffe. So it's a beautiful 30-minute ride to come here for about $15 to come here. And so you also get the scenic ride as you're coming to, and then you can take the hop-on, hop-off bus on the way back. You can bike back. Like there's different ways that you can make it one way and return another way, which is also appealing to the site.
Yeah, fantastic. Is there anything else that you would want to mention in terms of NCC and shoreline activation that I haven't asked you about?
Well, I'm born and raised in Ottawa, and so I've seen Ottawa, throughout my life, and to see what we've done in such a short period of time and how we've transformed the shoreline and the waterways is a big sense of pride. And to be able, as a public or as a citizen of Ottawa, but being part of the NCC team that's contributing to this is also really amazing.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Natalie, for joining us for this episode of Capital Stories. Thanks to you and your team for all the work you do, and thank you to our listeners and viewers for joining us for this episode. I think at this point the rain might be coming, so we're going to get out of the rain, and we'll see you the next time. And that wraps up this episode of Capital Stories. Join us next time as we continue to celebrate the triumphs, reflect on the challenges, and peer into the future of the National Capital Region. Thanks for joining us.